What if I told you our planet still hides places so surreal, so otherworldly, they seem almost impossible? In northern Brazil lies a desert of white sand that floods each year, transforming into a maze of turquoise lagoons, a living illusion shaped by rain and wind. In western Turkey lies a white landscape of cascading terraces, where mineral-rich waters form pools that shimmer like liquid crystal. These are not digital creations or imagined worlds, but living wonders, proof that Earth's beauty often outshines the limits of belief itself. Welcome to Unseen Nature Wonder, a journey to the edge of imagination, where reality and dream become one. Lençóis Maranhenses is famous because up to 4,000 lagoons can appear across the region, each one showing different colors and shapes. Although it looks like a desert, this place receives about 47 inches of rain every year, much more than real deserts. Beneath the white dunes lies a clay layer that traps rainwater, creating turquoise lagoons scattered between the giant sand ridges. The dunes were formed from ancient sea sand, blown inland by strong winds for more than 100,000 years. Fish called pêche das nuvens survive hidden in dry sand for months, waiting for rain to hatch and reproduce quickly. Many lagoons are fresh enough to drink, but they often evaporate and vanish completely after only a few weeks of heat. Pamukkale is famous for white terraces, like a cotton castle, created by hot springs rich in calcium bicarbonate flowing from the ground. When exposed to air, carbon dioxide escapes and calcium solidifies, coating slopes with smooth limestone layers. For more than 2,000 years, locals and visitors used these springs to heal skin, bone, and digestive problems. Hundreds of small terrace pools, each 1 to 2 feet deep, hold clear water that reflects sunlight. Water changes color from turquoise to milky white to pale yellow, depending on sunlight and mineral content. NASA once used satellite photos of Pamukkale for spectral research because the natural white surface reflects light strongly. Horseshoe Bend is a famous landmark in Arizona, known for the unique horseshoe-shaped bend of the Colorado River. It stands out with cliffs around 1,000 feet tall, similar in height to a nearly 100-story building, surrounding a perfectly curved river bend rarely seen in the world. The impressive scenery is created by the strong color contrast between the bright orange-red cliffs and the clear turquoise-blue river water. This landscape formed over more than 5 million years of continuous erosion, causing subtle changes over time, though difficult to observe with the naked eye. Before becoming widely famous due to social media about 10 years ago, Horseshoe Bend was relatively unknown. Painted Desert is a unique desert region in Arizona, featuring multicolored hills formed from layers of clay, mudstone, and minerals built up over 200 million years. Each soil layer has its own color: red, pink, purple, or gray, created by elements like iron and manganese, forming a natural landscape that looks like a giant painted canvas. Sunlight at different times of day causes the colors to shift constantly, making the scenery appear to move and never look the same. Some soil here contains bentonite, a type of clay that swells when wet, which leads to erosion and the creation of soft rolling hills. Though it is now a desert, this area was once the floor of an ancient inland sea, with fossils like ancient fish and dinosaur footprints still found today. The clearly exposed rock layers allow scientists to study millions of years of geologic history directly without being covered or disrupted by modern soil. Zhangye Danxia is known for colorful sediment layers lifted over millions of years, forming wave-like shapes across mountain slopes. The rocks show colors like red, orange, green, and white, caused by minerals such as iron, copper, and calcium. Dry season winds carry mineral dust into the air, creating pale mist around the mountains at sunrise. No large trees grow here because the soil is too mineral-rich and the pH prevents deep-rooted plants. In ancient beliefs, this land was sacred, and no one was allowed to enter after sunset. Civilian satellite images from 2010 showed this area has the highest land-based color reflectivity in Asia. Lake Hillier is famous for its stable pink color that never changes, even during heavy rain, strong sunlight, or fierce winds. The pink hue is not caused by reflection, but by Dunaliella salina algae and halophile bacteria producing carotenoid pigments in salty water. The lake measures about 2,000 feet long, separated from the ocean by a narrow strip of land, yet the waters never mix. In local folklore, it is called the Colored Well, symbolizing the boundary between the natural and the supernatural. NASA has studied Lake Hillier to understand how life survives under extreme conditions similar to extraterrestrial environments. To protect its unique microorganisms, swimming and mass tourism are strictly prohibited here. Trollstigen is famous for 11 hairpin bends in just 4 miles of road, clinging tightly to steep mountain slopes. This route lies on ancient glacial terrain, where ice carved into gneiss and granite during the last ice age. Rock layers here are over 400 million years old, shaped by compression and tectonic fractures of the Paleozoic era. The name Trollstigen means Stairway of the Trolls, tied to legends of giant mountain creatures in Nordic folklore. It is considered a symbol of Norwegian road engineering, showing harmony between human construction and harsh nature. The road was officially opened in 1936 after 8 years of work, becoming a masterpiece linking western mountains. Vatnajökull is the largest glacier in Europe, covering 8% of Iceland and spanning more than 3,100 square miles of massive ice. Its ice averages 1,300 feet thick, with the thickest parts over 3,100 feet, equal to 3 Empire State Buildings stacked together. Beneath lies an active volcanic system that can trigger Jökulhlaups, massive ice floods documented for centuries. The glacier surface moves about 3 feet per day, constantly reshaping the frozen landscape across the seasons. Ice caves beneath the glacier form translucent blue domes, reflecting light like glowing frozen chambers. Many caves change or disappear after the warm season, making every exploration a unique once-in-a-lifetime experience. Chocolate Hills is made up of more than 1,200 cone-shaped hills spread across a vast area and forming a unique geological landscape of Southeast Asia. The hills rise from 100 to 400 feet, evenly distributed over more than 20 square miles, creating an endless sea of mounds. Their structure is mainly ancient coral limestone, uplifted and eroded over millions of years, forming one of the rarest terrains on Earth. The name Chocolate Hills comes from the dry season when the grass turns dark brown, making the land look like a wavy brown carpet. They are a national natural symbol of the Philippines, once appearing on both currency and postage stamps. The hills are so uniform in shape that many people believe they were man-made rather than created by nature. Pamukkale Lake is so clear that you can see the bottom even at over 10 meters deep, like a sheet of glass in the jungle. The surface stays perfectly calm with no wind, giving the impression of a giant, motionless mirror. Trees cast shadows onto the lake, creating the illusion of sky under the water unique to this place. Midday sunlight reflects upward from the lake, forming a light mesh pattern on tree canopies like floating fog. The lake is about 10 to 15 meters deep, and its near neutral pH discourages algae but supports photosynthetic microbes. Though recently discovered online, its photos went viral and earned it the name the bluest lake in Indonesia. Wakari, or White Island, is the most active marine volcano in New Zealand, with a crater over 1 mile wide constantly venting toxic gases. Inside lies an acid lake with a pH near 0, strong enough to dissolve metal in just hours. In the 19th century, sulfur was mined here, leaving abandoned furnaces scattered across the ash-covered ground. In 2019, a sudden eruption killed and injured dozens, becoming one of New Zealand's most severe natural disasters. The island's surface is coated with yellow sulfur, black rock, grey ash, and green stains that resemble an alien landscape. Socotra hosts nearly 40% of its plant species found nowhere else, making extinction on the island permanent for many of them. Its geology is formed from ancient limestone and coral sediment, showing clear layers shaped over millions of years. Strong winds year-round bend most trees in one direction, making the landscape appear frozen in time. The dragon's blood tree, with its mushroom-like canopy, was once used to make incense and red dye. The island is seen as an open-air evolution lab due to its extreme biological isolation. The best time to visit is between February and April, when winds ease and the landscape shifts into vivid color. The sandstone pillars of Wulingyuan rise from 300 to over 600 feet, carved by erosion for more than 300 million years. The quartzite towers, harder than granite, survive centuries of storms and seismic shocks without collapse. The stone forest was shaped by chemical and mechanical erosion under a humid climate, forming a landscape unique to the planet. Elevations vary from 600 to 4,200 feet, creating more than 30,500 feet of vertical contrast inside a compact terrain. Caves hold ancient tribal carvings tied to rituals of sky worship and harvest prayers, symbols of mountain spirituality. In the early 20th century, European research groups secretly surveyed the area, suspecting hidden resources and prehistoric mysteries. Fly Geyser looks like a multi-tiered stone tower, erupting non-stop with hot water and steam under strong underground geothermal pressure. The geyser stands about 12 feet high, with jets reaching 5 feet, resembling a boiling volcanic fountain. Water reaches around 200 hertz, perfect for microbes that paint the surface with surreal red, green, and yellow tones. In fact, Fly Geyser was not created naturally, but appeared after accidental drilling for geothermal water. Deadvlei is a dried clay basin formed about 900 years ago when the water source that once fed it disappeared completely. The dead camel thorn trees have stood still since the 14th century without rotting because the dry air prevents decomposition. The silt and clay floor has been scorched by the sun, forming evenly cracked round patterns across the ground. Red sand dunes over 1,000 feet tall surround the basin, creating a fiery backdrop of total contrast. Sunlight here stays harsh all day, casting sharp shadows on the white earth with no cover or relief. With perfect composition and unmatched natural features, this has become one of the most surreal photo spots on Earth. Vermilion Cliffs appear like a deep red wall standing in the desert, over 3,000 feet tall and stretching endlessly along the horizon. The color in each rock layer reflects dry climate cycles, with oxidized iron forming red, orange, and pink bands. This sandstone plateau formed over 190 million years ago during the transition between the Triassic and Jurassic periods. Rugged terrain, dry air, and no surface water made the area uninhabitable, preserving its original state for millions of years. NASA once used terrain data from this site to model wave-like landforms found on the surface of Mars. Many scientists call it a living dead zone because there's no greenery, yet the shape of the land keeps shifting. Salar de Uyuni appears like a giant natural mirror where sky and earth merge into one surreal landscape. Its size exceeds 4,000 square miles, making this salt flat larger than many small countries on Earth. At an altitude of about 12,000 feet on the Altiplano, it experiences extreme differences between day and night temperatures. The salt crust averages 30 feet thick, covering brine lakes and storing one of the largest lithium reserves on the planet. In history, salt here was a valuable trade item among Andean communities. The best time to see the perfect mirror effect is from January to March, when rainwater spreads evenly across the surface. Cappadocia impresses with giant, mushroom-shaped rock pillars, their wide tops and thin bases creating a surreal landscape like objects from another planet. The land was formed from volcanic ash about 60 million years ago, producing soft, tough rock that erodes easily. Some stone towers reach 130 feet, their hard caps allowing them to keep shape for thousands of years. Ancient people carved into these rocks, building ventilation shafts, stone doors, and escape tunnels that worked like shelters. At sunrise, hundreds of hot air balloons lift together, coloring the sky above the ancient stone landscape. The rugged terrain with narrow gorges forces visitors to walk on foot, turning every journey into a harsh yet exciting experience. Mount Roraima stands out with a wide, flat summit at about 9,200 feet, often hidden inside thick clouds all year. This mountain is about 2 billion years old, a sandstone tabletop known as a tepui of the Guyana Highlands. Surrounding cliffs rise more than 1,300 feet, forming huge natural walls almost impossible to cross. Its isolated summit created a unique ecosystem where rare plant species exist that live nowhere else. Heavy rains turn the surface into streams and cracks, forming a harsh yet mysterious landscape. Eroded rocks shaped into strange forms make photographers describe it as a mix of Mars and prehistoric times. White Desert is marked by pure white limestone pillars over 30 feet tall, shaped like mushrooms, birds, or elephant heads. This desert was formed from ancient marine limestone about 80 million years ago, when the land was under the Tethys Ocean. The stone is mostly calcium carbonate, reflecting strong white light under the sun by day and the moon by night. Some rocks contain coral and marine fossils, clear evidence of its oceanic past. No human structures can last here because the land keeps changing from weathering and erosion. Scientists call it a fossilized desert because deposition has stopped, leaving only ancient layers exposed by erosion. Reynisfjara is famous for its towering black rock steps that look like architecture rising from a desolate beach. The beach was formed from ancient basalt lava, leaving sand rich in iron and magnesium that does not break down easily. Basalt columns form like steps shaped by slow cooling lava that cracked into natural hexagons. In Norse culture, this place marked the border between the real world and the realm of shadows, tied to legends of giants. The waves are strong and unpredictable, and swimming is not advised even close to shore. Visitors often come to photograph the rock pillars, but are warned to keep a safe distance from the rising waves. Great Blue Hole has a rare circular shape, nearly 1,000 feet wide and more than 400 feet deep in turquoise sea. Inside, huge stalactites and stalagmites appear from 130 feet deep, proving the ancient dry cast process. These formations are dated between 15,000 and 153,000 years, showing cycles of sea level rising and falling. Bottom water has almost no oxygen, forming a dead, stratified zone with no large marine life. Seen from above, the whole looks like a giant sea eye, dark blue against surrounding turquoise water. Mount Marapi is the most active volcano in Indonesia, sitting on the Pacific Ring of Fire, where two tectonic plates constantly collide. Standing about 96 and 80 feet tall, its summit often collapses or builds new lava domes after major eruptions. Pressure inside the magma chamber can cause summit explosions or send dangerous lahar flows racing through the lowlands. Marapi's eruption records span over 1,000 years, preserved in ancient writings and oral tradition among local communities. Before signs of eruption, villagers often hold traditional ceremonies and offerings to seek protection from the mountain's spirits. After each eruption, the slopes turn black, trees are scorched, rocks scatter, and the ground cracks for hundreds of feet. Transfiguration winds for over 90 kilometers across the Carpathians, reaching nearly 6,600 feet with an intense layout of twisted mountain paths. Some steep parts rise more than 2,000 feet in just a few miles, shifting how drivers breathe and sense altitude. In summer, fog and early sunlight create a rare layered lighting effect along the cliffs. Over 6,000 tons of explosives were used to cut through layers of ancient stone with tunnels and carved edges. The project caused many worker injuries and deaths due to unstable geology and harsh construction conditions. From above, the road looks like a giant geometric graph drawn in steel, twisting between rock and sky.